Everyone on your feed is telling you SpaceX stock is the deal of the century. It's not. And the people saying that, a lot of them bought it at $225 a share and are down almost 50% right now. No joke. Here's the thing. SpaceX went public back in June. The ticker is SpaceX, trades right on the NASDAQ. Anybody with a Robinhood or a Fidelity account can buy it. And when it opened, it popped. Priced at $135, opened at $150, closed its first day up almost 20%. 4 days later, it hit $225 a share. $225. Elon Musk was, on paper, briefly the first trillionaire in human history. And if you bought in that week, you got wrecked. Because right now, SpaceX is trading around $115. That's below the IPO price. That's down 49% from the high. In 6 weeks, this company lost over $1 trillion in value. $1 trillion. That's not a typo. That's not clickbait. That's NASDAQ's own numbers. So if you're sitting there thinking, I want to buy the dip, or worse, I already bought it and I'm panicking, stay with me, because what's happening to this stock right now is exactly the kind of thing Wall Street doesn't want regular people to fully understand. And by the end of this, you're going to know more about SpaceX than most of the people hyping it on YouTube. So why'd it crash? Here's the part nobody's explaining right. When SpaceX first started trading, only like 4 or 5% of all the shares were actually available to buy. The other 95%? Locked up. Employees, early investors, insiders, they legally can't sell yet. Think of it like a concert where the venue only opens one door. A few thousand people rush that one door and suddenly it looks like everybody wants in. That's what drove the stock to $225. It wasn't real demand from the whole market. It was a tiny crowd fighting over a tiny door. Now here's the kicker. That door's about to blow wide open. Early August, SpaceX reports its first earnings as a public company. Right after that, close to 1 billion new shares worth over $100 billion become legally sellable for the first time. And more waves are coming in October, November, all the way through December. Elon's own shares stay locked till 2027, but everybody else, they get their unlock windows starting now. And Wall Street knows this. That's exactly why institutional traders have been quietly selling for weeks before regular investors even clocked what was happening. Short sellers alone are sitting on like $15 billion in profit betting against this stock. $15 billion, off of people who bought the hype at the top. That's the villain in this story, by the way. It's not SpaceX the company, it's the mechanics of the IPO itself. A system built so insiders and big funds get the clean exit, and retail investors, regular people like you, get left holding shares while the floor drops out. You weren't told about the lockup calendar and the hype videos. You were just told, buy now before it's too late. But wait, because the lockup thing isn't even the only issue. This is where it gets messier. SpaceX, the actual company, lost $4.28 billion in a single quarter this year. Not revenue, that's the loss. And here's why. Starlink, the satellite internet side, is actually doing great. Profitable, over 10 million subscribers, real cash flow. But SpaceX merged with Elon's AI company, xAI, right before going public. And xAI is bleeding money hard enough to drag the whole company into the red. One valuation expert out of NYU, a guy named Oswath Damodaran, basically called SpaceX's own numbers a fantasy. SpaceX claimed AI alone represents a $26 trillion market opportunity, and he said, and I'm using his word here, that's a hallucination. Think about that for a second. You're not just betting on rockets anymore. You're betting on an AI division that just lost almost every single one of its original founders before the company even went public. And on top of that, mid-July, SpaceX had to abort a Starship test flight less than a second before liftoff. Multiple engines failed at startup. That's the actual rocket business, the thing that's supposed to be the safe, reliable part of this stock, having a bad month too. Oh, and one more thing. A huge chunk of SpaceX's revenue comes from government contracts, NASA, the Pentagon, and Elon Musk had a very public falling out with the Trump administration back in 2025. Some of those contracts actually got reviewed because of it. Most are basically impossible to cancel because SpaceX has zero real competition at that scale, but that's still a risk sitting there that most investors have no idea exists. Now, I gotta be fair here, because this isn't a SpaceX's doomed video. Most Wall Street analysts covering this stock still rated a buy, like overwhelmingly 27 buy ratings to 1 sell. Average price targets over $230, more than double where it's trading right now. Google actually disclosed they're sitting on a $94 billion stake in SpaceX. $94 billion. That's not a meme stock bet. That's one of the biggest companies on Earth putting real money down for the long haul. And Starlink, the profitable part, still growing fast, still dominating a market nobody else can touch. So here's what it actually comes down to. If you're buying SpaceX because you think Elon Musk can't fail, or because your buddy said it's going to the moon literally, you're buying blind. You're stepping into a stock with a trillion-dollar supply wave headed straight at it in the next few months, tied to a company that's currently losing billions of dollars a quarter on an AI bet even its own critics are calling unrealistic. But if you actually understand the calendar, the August lockup, the October and November unlocks, the earnings that'll show whether XAI's losses are shrinking or growing, then you're not gambling anymore. You're making an actual decision with actual information, which is more than most people buying the stock right now can say. So before you tap buy on SpaceX, check the lockup date, check the last earnings report, and ask yourself if you're investing in Starlink, the real, profitable working business, or if you're just investing in a headline. Because right now, a lot of people already made that mistake. Don't be the next one. If this video helped you dodge a bullet or see the bigger picture, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more real market breakdowns, and share this with that one friend who won't stop talking about buying the dip. See you in the next one.